Hi everyone, Coach Sullivan again here with MJS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, say thank you. To non-subscribers, I'm really hoping I can tease you into pushing that button. Completed my 38th year coaching football as a defensive coordinator, but over that time I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. What I'd like to talk to you about in this presentation is one of our empty A.F.Cs, automatic front and cover, that we utilize only versus 10 personnel that we call Buck. Okay? And so Buck is both a 5 and a 6-man box, as you'll see, depending upon if it's 3x2 or 4x1. All right? And there's going to be a reason why we only utilize it versus 10. It goes hand in glove with our 6-man boxes that we will utilize versus 10 personnel formations. All right, so this is our go-to A.F.C for that reason. Okay. So the front, since this isn't any particular front, is a 5-1-5. So both defensive ends are in a 5 shade, outside shade, and the nose is a 1 shade to the lizard rip, as you'll see. Okay. The mic is A split on the center, opposite the lizard rip. Okay. The backer is in what we call a hip on the defensive end. I'll give you the tangible landmarks when we get to the diagram portion of it. Okay, it's just the term we use. Is hip off the defensive end to the lizard rip. Okay. And then we have, now, so this is versus 3x2. Okay, a 3x2 empty. The outside linebacker to the receivers, 3 receivers, apex is 2 and 3 on the heels of the DN. I'll show you that. And then the outside linebacker on the 2 receiver side is 3x4 off the defensive end. So 3 yards outside, and 4 makes him even with the mic, is what we say. Get even with your mic. Okay? And our defensive backs are normal. Okay? So the front 7 is a little bit special. Again, why we only utilize it versus 10 personnel in our various 6-man box fronts. Okay? But to keep it simple for the DBs in the back end, they play normal. So when it's number 2, 4x1, then the outside linebackers, what we call overhang to the 4 receiver side. So they both go to the 4 receivers, as I'll show you. Okay? So then the outside linebacker who apexes 3 and 4 is in what we call a dabo, which is a combo with the inside linebacker, who will be the backer. So I'll show you and explain what the dabo combo means. Okay? We will check steal on the 3 receivers, 1, 2, and 3, because we have a dabo combo on number 4. So number 4 is accounted for by the inside and outside linebacker. Okay? And again, I'll show you all of that over here in the diagram. On the 1 receiver side, one of our base ways of playing is what we call check stay. So we're going to double cover them with the corner and the safety, but we're going to do it with an outside press. So it becomes a little bit more like a bracket. It's still going to be high-low, but it's also an outside-inside bracket, which is why we choose to do it that way. Usually teams that go empty 4x1, they're trying to isolate the single receiver, the 1X, he's their dude. So we want to make sure we're double covering the dude. Number 3, anytime wide receiver motions, it's what we call lasso. So there's no roping. It's just going to be the linebackers, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, quite easily, in fact. So then number 4, to answer the question, why Buck? Well, as I started at the beginning, it's only versus 10 personnel, and it's when we're in our 6-man box front. So that's either offset, okie, stack, split, or shade, right? Any of those 5 are our 5 different 6-man boxes that we can throw at a 10 personnel, 10 formation. Well, when we're in one of those, our players are taught the automatic front and cover, the A.F.C, is Buck. Okay? The other reason, letter B, it's good versus an athletic quarterback, and letter C, it's also good versus pass on both sides because we get two high safeties. Woo! Which is what we want. Okay, and then it's also easy versus running back motion empty because we're in our six-man box already. It's easy for us to get into buck. So it covers all the different scenarios, and so therefore you are obligated as coaches spring, preseason, and even during the season. If you're not sure if you're going to see 10, just practice it, a couple of 3 reps. If you know you're going to see it, then make sure you've got it scripted in during the week of practice leading up to the game. Okay, so your players don't hesitate, and even if it's review, rep and review, you always want to make sure you do it so not just the starters, but backups know what they're doing too. Okay? All right. So now we're going to take these key terms, and I'm going to show you how it plays out over here. So up top, I have it versus what we just call 3x2, Toledo, 5 wide receivers. Not subscribers, push the button. And on the bottom is Toledo full, which makes it 4x1. Okay, still 5 wide receivers. Okay? So when I get to it, and what I'm talking about is receiver motion, I use red for both the receiver that's going in motion and how we lasso. Okay? So this would be when it's 3x2 empty. The 3 receiver side dictates the Liz or Rip. So in this case, it's Liz. So that's why the nose is in the one shade left. Okay, he hears Buck, so now he knows he's listening for Liz or Rip, which should be echoed by your mic. All right, so there's your 5-1-5 that we talked about earlier. When we said the mic is an A split, okay, there in the center's feet. That means the mic's inside toe is on the center's toe opposite the Liz. So in this case, it's going to be the right toe. So his left toe is on the right toe. Again, up toe at 4. Nothing changes. 31 technique means that B gap and that A gap because the backer, who I will get to, he's going to fold into the B gap. Okay? So over here, here's the outside linebacker to the 2 receiver side, right? He's 3 yards outside, and when we say at 4, that's just even with your mic. Okay? He still, versus a quarterback run, if he dips inside the tackle box, he's going to fold B as well. So that's what makes it a 5 to 6-man box right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are part of the box, and he ends up making it 6-man. Right? It's technically orbit, but that's only if the quarterback runs outside or if it's a motion and it's a speed sweep, then he's going to pull it up. Okay? Over here, these 3 guys are playing gray 4, which means they're reading and reacting to number 2. Okay? So now over here, what's meant by the hip? Okay, hip alignment. There are your defensive end's feet. Okay? Hip alignment is you essentially put your inside toe on the hip. So your toe's actually inside the foot of your defensive end. We just call it a hip. Okay? So we're not going toe to heel. We're going actually toe inside. That gives him the ability to fold, okay, a little bit quicker. You'd be amazed how much difference that makes. Okay, so that's why it's called a hip and not a C-stack, because he's not going toe on heel. He's going toe literally inside the foot on the hip or the butt cheek of the defensive end. Okay, there's your tangible landmark. So on the pass, this is check steal. He now, because the mic's mirroring the quarterback, okay, Mike has quarterback, he becomes 3-2 in. If they're not, then he's a curl. Outside linebacker, 2 to 3 receivers, right? Apex, split 2 and 3, okay? Be on the, it doesn't look like it, but his toe is going to be on the heels of the defensive end. He's the flat wheel. Corner is 2-1 vertical. Safety, 1x12. Ike inside of 3 is 3-2 vertical. That's how we play check steal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 over 3. So we're +1 in the perimeter, all right? And we're also +1 in the box. Pretty good, okay? So that is how we handle it versus 3x2. If he were to motion across, right? Here's where the lasso would come in. And that's it. And then now it would check from Liz to Rip. They'd be screaming, check 4. They'd be screaming, check steal. There it is. So you got to practice that all the time. Walkthroughs, everything. Meetings, just rep your kids adjusting to movement by the offense. That's all we do. Okay? Consequently, if he motioned across, this gets real messy fast, right? He bumped down, he rotate over. So now he would be in the hip, he would apex 3 and 4, and there's still going to be the dabble. And I'm going to cover the dabble down here with you. And then they'd be saying, as he moved up, check stay, dabble, check steal. And it would still remain a Liz. Okay? So now down here, if they come out in 4x1, right? Still a Liz. But they'd be saying full. So see, here's your overhang, right? Versus 4x1. Here's the overhang. So when it's Liz, non-subscribers, you're welcome. The rover and dime stay left and right. Rover right, dime left. Okay? Backer left, Mike right. Well, Mike's always in the middle, so the backer goes to the Liz or Rip. If this were a Rip, okay, the dime would be apexing 3 and 4 because he would go over to the rover. So in this case, rover's coming over. So the dime stays apex 2 and 3. Rover's apex 3 and 4. Now the dabo, okay, he's still a full B. He's still hip. Nothing changes. What's meant by the dabo, these two bracket number 4. Okay? They're going to bracket number 4. So that's what's meant by the dabo. If 4 goes vertical, they both go vertical with them. Outside, inside. So there's a bracket on the vertical. If 4 goes in, backer goes with them, and the rover now just sits in the curl. If the 4 went out, rover takes him, and the backer sits in the curl. These 3, okay, play check steal. So if he goes vertical, number 4, we technically have voided the curl, correct. Okay, can't cover everything. But we'd rather him throw the curl route that might be open than hit number 4 on the vertical because we got a mismatch with one of these two guys. If both guys are running and bracketing inside out on a 4, I feel pretty good about it. Okay, so there you go. Yes, if 4 is vertical, we do void the curl. Correct. Okay, everything stays the same here. Here's your check stay, outside press. He ends up, if he's vertical, right, he's outside bracket, he's inside bracket. So 4 in their dude, we inside-outside bracket the verticals. Otherwise, any other route, he's low, he's high on top of number 1X. He is doubled the dude. Okay? Over here, to compensate for not having the fold B, if it's the sky, so if the quarterback comes outside, safety has force. But if the quarterback disappears inside, Safety stub means safety's in the B gap. So he's still 31 here, but you still have safety help in the B gap, which again now makes it a 6-man box. 5 to 6 man. Starts off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the safety will add to it to make it a 6-man box. Okay? So the last thing down here, whether it's 4, 3, or 2, whichever one of them were to go in motion, okay? So I'll just say for the sake of discussion, it's number 3, right? He will rope over. In this case, the rover will now become the hip, and it will become a regular 3x2. This would now be check 4. This would remain check steel, but it's the old-fashioned 4/3. Okay, so these two guys are the ones who adjust. Here it is. Simple for us, may not be simple for people watching at the moment, but that's why questions, please reach out to me at CoachMJSullivan@gmail.com. If you're already a subscriber and you've looked at my offset presentation, my Oki presentation, my stack presentation, my split or shade, any of those 5, then you can see how this buck ties in with it. Okay? So thank you for watching MJS Coaching Football. Thank you, YouTube, for providing this platform. And let's make it a great day.